Song you need to open with. I just put in the
Song,
private chat.
the song we need to open with.
Yeah.
That's a special song. I'm not sure I want to do that. Especially considering I haven't figured out how to get the AV working. Could you possibly do a screen share there, or is your potato too underpowered to do that?
Yeah, I could probably do it. Give me a sec, let me get it
Let's
up on
try it. Let's
the
try
audio.
it. Because I really don't want to download a Chrome browser because the one I have, Brave, for some reason isn't letting me into my Google account. I don't know what which one of my many Brave extensions is thwarting my attempt with Google. We have compelling boomerisms right now. And hit play.
All right.
To the window, to the wall, till the sweat drops down my balls, until all these bitches crawl. Ah, skeet, skeet, goddamn. Getting drunk in the club she's working. I like to see them females twerking, taking their clothes off, bucking naked. ATL ho, don't disrespect it. 369, damn she fine, hoping she can suck it to me one more time. Bring your ass right over here, ho. Let me see you get low. To the window, to the wall, till the sweat drops down my balls. Oh, by golly, skeet, skeet, motherfucker, goddamn.
Well, that was certainly something, Ayrton. That was
Merry
certainly
Christmas,
something.
everybody.
Merry Christmas. Yeah, this is our early Christmas broadcast because church. He's got the little churchlings, the little outbuildings on the Church of Failure grounds, and they become a problem to manage during this time of year. So, Ayrton, we got some reviews today, and apparently you saw Aquaman 2, which is
Yeah,
the afterbirth of the Zack Snyder DC extended universe.
yeah, it hurt my brain.
Well, I mean, I hear that Jason Momoa is playing a bum with a crazy bitch wife, but she's a hot redhead, so I mean, I can certainly understand sticking with a crazy bitch wife who's a hot redhead.
Oh, he was acting.
Oh, really?
That I thought that was just how he was.
Hmm. Hmm. So tell us about the movie. Tell the people about the movie that you saw.
Trying to remember all of it. So it opens with Aquaman telling us about who he is. Because that's always
Remember that movie that was considered the bright spot in the DC extended universe?
right,
That
right.
was me. But how did I get here to the end of a dead universe?
Yeah, yeah. So then it cuts to it's he's telling the story to his newborn son, like
Mm, mm, mm.
like very small baby, who then pees in his mouth.
I
Like,
mean, babies do that.
I mean, they do, but
But this could be part of Rune's theory about the emergence of disgusting fetish people in the online media discourse.
that's a good
So there
point.
could be somebody who's into the pee thing, or maybe somebody said, "Hey, Amber's pooping on people's beds in their trailers. We need to throw something else to counter the scatological problems we have here on set."
Yeah, yeah, that's fair. So let's see. Then it shows him doing king stuff. Gimli plays a giant crab
Mm.
person. Um, And then we get the main crux of the plot, which is Black Manta is back. Because isn't that like the only Aquaman villain? Like, there's no
He's
other,
not. He's not
right?
the only Aquaman villain, but he's the big time Aquaman villain.
He's like Aquaman's Joker, essentially.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. So he's trying to find the lost seventh kingdom of Atlantis. Because it holds some sort of power that he can destroy the other kingdoms, yada, yada, yada. Well, it turns out that King Adelan, the first ruler of the kingdom of Atlantis, sealed in this person who I don't even remember his name underneath the Antarctic ice sheet, and global warming has been since it's melting the ice, some of these artifacts have been leaking out. Now he has a magical black trident thing that,
I mean, why did it have to be black, huh?
because Black Manta matches.
I mean, I see it has the evil sickly green aura. So I mean, why's it gotta be black and green?
Because reasons. And then so they have to he gets some scientists, they do some stuff and cause more global warming to free the seventh kingdom of Atlantis. Aquaman has to break his half brother out of prison to help him fight the bad people, and they have an octopus help Aquaman do some like James Bond spy shit. And I think in my live tweet thread of watching the movie, the phrase I used was Deus Ex Octopus, because that's essentially what happens in that part of the
Deus
movie.
Octopus.
Let's see, there's some fights.
Solid octopus.
I should move on my thread because I'm trying to remember all
He's
the other.
8 times as good as 007.
He would be one. He would be one better.
That's not what all the Japanese schoolgirls say.
It actually predates Japanese schoolgirls, the whole thing with octopi and
It does.
sexual stuff.
It is actually ancient. And it's extra funny because it's all about the Japanese are like, we can't show dangle because that would be rude.
I mean, except in hentai, they say, okay, we can show it, but we have to put a black bar on the naughty parts of the dingle. You know what those are?
Right.
It's the hole.
Oh, so here's another key moment. Black Manta.
Now, Church, are you a broke father because you spent all your money, or are you broke because the children have broken you?
Yes.
So we're right now talking about Aquaman, which is about family, and that's why it's not as powerful as it should be.
Wait a minute.
It should be about people.
Is Dom Toretto in this comic book?
No, we're talking about the Aquaman movie.
No. But if Dom Toretto in the movie, has he replaced Jason Momoa as Aquaman?
I wish.
No.
Oh, well, that would have been a better movie.
It would have been.
And it would have been about family. I would have liked the drifting under the sea.
I shared this previously. I am watching to hear more because I absolutely chuckle at the accusation that Vin Diesel, a very openly gay or at least bisexual man who could have any woman he wants, you just look at your agent and say, "Can you get me a chick?" Supposedly sexually assaulted a secretary.
A male secretary, or was it was a female secretary.
Was this in the Senate? Because I believe it if it happened in the Senate.
No, it was a female secretary who'd only worked for him for like a day and a half.
Did she look like a guy?
No, that's the thing. That's the thing. It's a female secretary. And
was it a female or was it a female?
It was
an actual female. The thing is,
it wasn't somebody on the F+ program.
I mean, you said it. You said it. I didn't say it. I
the thing is that the thing is that while I am not willing to just say it didn't happen, right? Vin
Yeah.
Diesel has never been secret about his orientation.
Well, while we're all four here, because I'm not sure how long my presence is going to be possible.
I mean, assuming
You know, I
Nurgle
am
does
up in
not
the North
drag me
Pole.
away.
Well, I am up in the North Pole, being Santa Claus, and there's the connection spotty up here. But the other two castmates, Rune, are familiar with my idea for a character. Should we do a D&D
Okay.
one-off?
Yeah,
Mm.
I'm just trying to figure out what game to use, and I have an idea because oddly enough, it is actually reasonably
Well,
difficult to include guns.
I need you to agree to whatever character that I bring to the table right now, and then I will tell you about it
I
just to
will
get your reaction.
I will abide your shitlordery because as the GM, I do in fact get to torture you. So
All
it's
right,
fair.
so
I would say for Church's concept, you should require him to spend a feat slot for his concept.
Well, I mean that depends on if the
absolutely,
game
and
we
I
have
abide by that.
that depends on if the game we have even uses feat slots. But I'll hear it out. Tell me a tale.
I'm going to be three kobolds and an Urs in a robe disguised as a Goliath.
Okay.
But I'm going to vehemently deny the fact that I am four entities, and I'm going to have in my head canon that I'm a schizophrenic Goliath who talks to him.
I will figure out how to do this.
And I am going to be Emlyn Randolph. I will help
I,
you prepare.
I got that. That's the thing. What I'm actually thinking of is I'm gonna look into pulling out a post-apocalyptic game I
Wait,
recently acquired.
you mean Chess Kobold can have a pistol and blindly aim it at the enemy?
I mean, arguably, four kobolds in a or three kobolds and an erd in a suit can have six pistols if they do it right. But that's the thing is I'm thinking about looking into a post-apocalyptic game. It's basically a spiritual successor to Gamma World.
You mean Mutant Crawl Classics?
No, Dystopian Dawn,
Mm.
which is noteworthy because I contributed and I
I'm
didn't
really
contribute money.
I'm really surprised, Rune, that that didn't infuriate you more when I said it out loud.
Yet again, here's the thing. 'Cause this has been a conversation point over on role playing circles. There's a cut from a book that's basically saying lowball your fights for your players because they're little babies who need to be coddled.
I mean,
And
in
everybody
fairness,
says,
it is a book for little babies.
right, and everybody says fuck that, right? And there's a lot of debate about it, and there's also a lot of debate about should you kill your PCs. We hope you're not saying I'm going to kill my players. That's a different level of concerning.
Look,
Um,
look. What you need to do is your players need to get good.
Right. And as you may or may not know, or at least as I recently discussed with Tom,
Mhm.
our friend in common, Tom, I described the job as being a rope salesman. Now I own the plantation where the rope is grown, and I own the factory where the rope is made, and I have it come in preformed links with a nifty handle that happens to be adjustable, which might look like a noose, but not really. And you can have as much rope as you want. I am allowed to enjoy watching you take too much rope. Right? And then
Mhm.
the follow through on that is when people are like, "Well, yeah, but do you kill your players?" It's like, no, I generally don't. Why
Well,
not?
I am going to say that as I came up with this idea, I generally conceded to the fact that by the end of the campaign, should I survive it, I'm going to be reduced to basically a floating Erd disguised as a Goliath head in midair.
I mean,
You're right.
that's one option. You could always elevate yourself to being a lich.
You're a
So, like,
branded jar. You're a
I
branded
either
jar
have
with a trench coat hanging off of your jar.
well that, or I could like up my charisma to the point that I could like gaslight other kobolds to becoming, the lower portion of my Goliath disguise. Should any of them get killed off?
Kobolds org.
I mean, here's how that conversation might go.
As far as I'm concerned, this Saturday night, there's not even gonna be a fight.
I will torture his body so that his soul learns to be humble.
I'm gonna knock him out round one, bitch.
God chose me for this fight. God is the teacher. Derek is the student.
Wait. What did he say again? He said God chose him.
So the thing is that the follow through conversation is, well, do you kill your PCs? And I say generally not. And there are people on the more emergent gameplay side of things who assume that's because I'm a story gamer. But I stand by the argument: if I killed your PC, the torture would end. I can keep doing nasty things to you if you live. I will reward you with ever more oppressive social environments and awful choices if you live. Which is funny.
Make one request, Rune.
Okay.
We'll need to go over like all the various gun statistics and stuff, so you don't trigger my autism.
Well, one of the things is that I'm trying to avoid having to invest in a book. Not because it's a bad book, I would buy it, but because I don't have that kind of money. But there's a Dutch guy named Victor Gorchev on the internet who wrote a book for old school essentials called Modern Necessities, and it's for including modern armaments in your D&D alike.
I've heard very good things about the autism involved.
Yeah, he's very strong autism, but my economics are weak.
Larry, can you send me a link to this book?
Not yet.
But oddly enough, as we're talking,
a legitimate link to it so that I can find an illegitimate one.
Well, that's awful. Don't do that. Support indie creators, Church.
Yeah.
I am, by partaking of their work.
But
how I partake of it is my business, you see, matey.
But anyway, oddly enough, doing terrible things to your characters. I was reminded of this because of your current thing that is getting lots of traction, Larry. Not just the clip from Pa Kent being Pa Kent, right? But
that did a lot of business. I'm so shocked about that.
But also your Spider-Man clips, because I think Larry, I figured out the problem.
Larry, your next AI prompt, real quick. You should do that Will Smith scene in comic book panel format with Uncle Phil, but it's Superman and Pa Kent. You know the one I'm talking about. Why you don't want me, man?
Yeah, I gotta massage that. Gotta massage that to make that work.
But I figured out why. I mean, there are many other reasons. I'm sure you will come up with many other reasons. But I figured out why the shit tier people are drawn to Spider-Man, and why they think they're good at writing Spider-Man. And it's because they don't understand the economy of scale, right? I watched a clip today where Spider-Man met the Joker, and the joke was that Joker was gonna murder his family and do all kinds of awful things, and so Peter just started laying out what he has dealt with in, say, the last 20 years, right? And the Joker was basically sitting next to him at the end, going,
the Spider-Man and the Joker actually did meet.
I know they did. But
I have a counterpoint to your position, Rune. I have an actual quote from Slotto Bloctavius.
I'm kind of retarded.
Yeah, there's that too. The thing is that they understand that Peter is at his best when the stresses pile on, right?
Larry's gotten too powerful.
But they measure all stressors as equal, right? So they
mean, as Church can attest, having 4 children would be very stressful.
Right, but here's the thing.
Oh God, don't wish that on me.
A Spider-Man story, okay, is not Oh no, my children are dead. Oh no, my girlfriend left me after trying to murder me. Oh no, I sold my marriage to the devil. That's not a Spider-Man story. That's
That's not even a good story.
That's not even a good story. What is a Spider-Man story? Well, I tried really hard and I've worked a real long time and I almost got a car from a ticket prize, right? And I had to show up at one point at one time to put my hand on the car. And if I had my hand on the car longest, I'd win it. Which, I mean, come on, I'm Spider-Man. I'll just stick to the car. It'll be great, right? But Peter had to go save the day, and so the car was not got. And he's feeling pretty low about it. And MJ's like, yeah, it's okay. Who needs a car in New York? Right? That's a Spider-Man story.
And also, that's a story about, a marriage and about how a wife supports her husband. It's good times. But let's talk about
real quick, Larry. I appreciate it. This close to the holiest of holidays, the celebration of the pagan Yule. I mean, the birth of Jesus Christ. That you not use any of your Jew magic on me, like you just tried to do.
I mean, I will double down that in a Spider-Man story, MJ would gather the kids up, like bundle them up so they're like, little star people from The Simpsons, like Maggie, and go out to the competition, and she'd stand in for Peter because Peter busy, and she'd put her hand on the car, and she'd make the go of it, right? And so he shows up and he's like, I'm sorry I didn't make it. And she's like, that's okay. We tried our best. And he's like, what do you mean? They talk about how she went out and did it. Right. And he's like, you didn't have to do that. And she's like, I know. And they like cuddle up because she's cold. He's beat to shit and they love each other. And that's an awesome Spider-Man story.
Mm-hmm. But we need to continue our Festivus grievances because Eric was talking about the Aquaman movie.
We talked about nice things, and now we got to go back to the trenches.
No, it's fine. Continue.
Guys, you know that just having Amber Heard in this movie would have saved it.
No, I mean she's in the movie. In fact,
you guys know that not having Amber Heard in the movie would have saved it.
Well, I mean, no, it would have made it less bad.
Well, does she take a giant rancid shit on the throne of Atlantis?
Does it float to the top of the water?
So what they do actually to get her out of like half of the movie is they have Black Manta shoot her with the evil black green glowing death.
Wait a minute. I want to make sure.
She has to go into Atlantean prison.
Wait, 13 to 50 what?
Wait, I want to make sure. I want to make sure I understand my wokeism here. To get a white woman out of the movie because she was no good, they had a black man shoot a woman with a gun.
Yeah. With his glowing black green trident, if you will.
Correct.
That's exactly
a long, glowing green trident.
And he says the line, "I'm going to kill me in bed, mermaid," unless I heard it wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's what he said. Yeah, and then they fight, and then they save the day because of course they do. And the movie was really boring. It was super gay, and I think all of the writers, all the entire writing and creative staff on this movie needs to be deported.
I mean, what if they're Americans? Have you ever considered that possibility?
I don't care.
So, Rune, I know you were diving into Jack Reacher. You want to talk about some Jack Reacher?
You missed the best joke. You fell into the scheme that everyone else falls into. Shame on you. So, I watched season 1.
Jack Reacher around.
Indeed. I got through season 1. It's really only that one episode. I want to say episode 3 or 4 that's kind of weak.
I thought that was the best joke. Sorry.
I know. So
you were really reaching there, Church.
I mean, he's just jacking it. So everybody's talking about the scene in season 2, because season 2 just started coming out, where Jack beats up the carjacker, and where Jack beats up the dude in the army, and because they like the physical fisticuffs. But the best actual joke, okay, is Robert Patrick. So, for those who do not know, a running gag in the Jack Reacher series is that Jack Reacher and his brother and their peers in the 1/10 Special Investigations use, among other things, the names of famous ball players when they sign into motels and the like. The PI, that is Jack Reacher's sort of Girl Friday, named herself Sarah Connor.
Yep.
Right? And so, non-specific bad guy calls into the boss and says, "Here's
Very
some names
good.
that we tracked down." And the boss says, knows who the sports guy is. And
Who the heck is Sarah Connor?
And the non-specific bad guy says, "Who's Sarah Connor?" And Robert Patrick turns around and says, "I don't give a fuck." And that is a double joke. Not only because that's Robert Patrick, who was in Terminator 2, but for anyone paying attention, that's Robert Patrick, the Liquid Terminator, who wasn't after Sarah Connor in Terminator 2. He was after John Connor.
Correct.
He actually doesn't give it.
That joke would be even better. That joke would have been even better if they could have found the redheaded kid and have him involved somehow in the plot.
Oh yeah, that would have been good.
You literally have some adult hobo talking to a cop. It's like, "Where'd that giant dude go?" And he's like, "I think he went that way." And it's the kid from Terminator 2, and it would have been brilliant. But alas, we don't live in the best of all.
I feel like he needed to be playing Mrs. Pac-Man.
I mean, yeah, there you go.
So,
in a laundromat, maybe.
Yeah. So you told me that you understood why you were having trouble with Reacher before?
Yeah.
Were your arms not long enough?
No. It is clearly that if I was to track down the book that was used for season 1, Killing Floor, I'd probably really enjoy it. But the pacing and the presentation of an Amazon series still has to be television.
Yeah.
Right. So the romance between the main characters, even though
the police lady and Jack Reacher,
even though it's not,
I think we should adopt a new scale for judging these things as to how well it would convert into a first-person RPG style video game made by Japan.
Oh, Jack Reacher would be an excellent first-person Japanese style video game.
Except for that one episode that would basically be a not even a bad Japanese sex game.
There's a fly in all soup, friend.
Yeah,
see, that's 2 times a joke. See, a fly in the soup, but the fly being the episode in Breaking Bad that people declare is either the best or worst episode because of how far off it is from the typical chemistry of the episode.
And that was the episode filmed by Ryan Johnson, if you remember correctly.
I do believe so, yes.
But anyway, Brown.
Yeah.
He must have got a lot of reach arounds to be able to film that.
So, anything else you wanted to bring in on a Reacher review?
I mean, quite frankly, it's not the greatest thing since sliced bread, but it is solidly better than a lot of the sliced bread you've been given. So check it out, or don't.
I have a review. I have a spoilery review.
What's your review?
John dies at the end.
The film or the book?
The book. Fuck the film.
Okay. I mean, he didn't die at the end of the film.
He did not. He didn't die at the end of the book either. Spoiler, so, David Wong ends up dead at the end of the book.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, it's good because I have no fucking clue what happened, and I'm listening to it again to try and figure it out, but it was good enough that I didn't just immediately go, what the fuck? And throw my phone across the shop when I turned it on. There's an overarching theory in the book that an alien chemical from an alternate dimension in an alternate multiverse gives you the power to basically unlock your entire brain. So you've got your limitless factor there, but it also allows you to see dead things. So you've got your fucking what was the M Night Shyamalan version of that?
The Happening.
Bruce Willis. Sixth Sense. You get your Sixth Sense in there, but it's absolutely ridiculous. Like, it opens up on the riddle that, you know, if you decapitate a guy with your axe and on the last swing your handle breaks, so you take your axe to the hardware store and you get a new handle after explaining away the red stains as barbecue sauce. You take your axe back home with the shiny new handle, you hang it up in your garage, and you forget about it until 4 months later when a fucking flesh-eating centipede breaks into your house. And while you're trying to kill it with your trusty axe, you accidentally hit the metal table leg of your kitchen table and chip the blade. So after you kill the centipede, you end up back at the hardware store buying a new axe head for your fucking axe. Then you take it home, and the zombie that you were decapitating earlier approaches you and says, "That's the axe that kills me." Is he right? And I don't think he is.
I zoned
Nothing.
out. You know, I
You
don't
replace
like
the handle and the axe head of the axe that killed somebody. It's the same axe that killed them when they come back from the dead.
if you replace the handle, yeah, because you use
And
the axe
the
to
head.
kill somebody.
No, you replace both parts, but in
Oh,
different
well,
accidents.
well, no, if it's not the same part that killed them, then no, it's not the.
But it's still your axe, right?
Yeah. But if I shoot somebody with a Glock 19 and then get rid of it and buy another Glock 19,
No. You're not
same
getting
Glock
rid of it. You're replacing different parts of it over time to where you've replaced all the parts on the gun, but it's still your Glock 19.
okay, it's the same thing. Your way just took longer. Whatever.
So
It's not the same thing, though, because, I mean, initially you put a new slide on the Glock 19. Then you have to get a new trigger mechanism for it. Then you have to get a new striking pin for it. You know, then you need a new fucking magazine acceptor or lower, I guess is what they call
you,
It's
you
all
know
that,
what's
right?
great, folks, is this conversation really helps me get in the mood for talking about Rebel Moon later.
I'm
Well,
sorry.
I'm still not quite there, but see, that's how the book opens, and then you're put into an interview situation where the author, who has already proven himself as unreliable, explains that he's meeting with someone to give an interview about how everything got to the point that it is at the end of the book, where you end up at the end of the interview. So he gives this extremely long diatribe where he ends up falling in love with a girl he had nicknamed Cucumber after Sea Cucumber because she vomits all over the place twice a week at least.
Gross.
But his best friend John is, I mean, apparently the coolest cat to ever exist because he's always bagging hot chicks and fucking can't hold down a job. So in the time period, he's like the coolest. He's your rebel. He's who you would expect the main character of these books to be. And there's a couple of fake outs where you think John actually is dead, but because of the alien substance herefore deemed soy sauce, you think the narrator is able to communicate with him because of the rules applied to the soy sauce. And then, you're zigged and you're zagged, and you got an M. Night Shyamalan kind of ending, except it's entertaining, but you still have no fucking clue what's going on by the time you get to the end of the book, and you find out that the interview had been taking place with the dead person the whole fucking time. And the corpse of the dead person is in the back of the interviewee's car.
Wait, so it was the trees that killed him?
Was the what?
The trees.
So Ayrton, can you explain the context of this image that Rune has here?
That I've cobbled together with 3 million minutes in a snipping
That's basically
tool.
the movie. Yeah.
I've seen that movie.
I mean, I am ready to pull the trigger on racism time to kind of pep things up.
Yeah.
Well, the N word is featured in the book, by the way, so that is a good jumping off point for John dies at the end. All in all, I give it a solid 7 out of 10. I'm going to listen to it again to see if I understand what the hell was happening.
I don't feel that the follow-up book, This Book is Full of Spiders, is as good.
But we're about to go in hard into racism time, so let me play the racism time theme.
цена посчитать потери. Суммы нули погибать на сцене. Снова один прогуляюсь без тени. Заливай лик, поцелуй на шее. Как дома, правый назад, черный каскад. Вижу твой взгляд, стель горят. Мог тебя взять, но ты не моя. Тогда цена посчитать потери. Суммы нули погибать на сцене.
So I unfortunately saw Percy Jackson, which left me with many confused feelings of
Wait,
racism.
you saw him in person? Like you didn't like beat the shit out of him when you saw him?
No, I saw him on Disney Plus.
You know he's the ox, right?
No.
If Larry had seen Percy Jackson in real life, he'd run over him with his mobility scooter.
I mean, I don't have a mobility scooter, and I'm guessing Percy doesn't.
You do from now on.
No.
Look for it on the Amazon truck in the next week.
Ugh. So Percy Jackson has a lot of interesting dynamics about it. So because of the way the extremist phrase frame representation in our media context, there are a lot of things that were very awkward and uncomfortable. Like, for example, in the first episode, Grover, who used to be black and has now been replaced by a South Indian actor, betrays Percy. Just straight up narcs on him to the school principal. That's really weird. It's really weird, and I felt very uncomfortable about the racial connotations of that. Also, Percy is being bullied by women.
Don't they know that snitches get stitches?
Apparently not, no. But I mean, he is a goat person. So goat people are known for not obeying proper rules and etiquette. Percy is also exclusively being abused by females, in particular brown females. That's weird. It's really weird. Chiron, the noble horse person, who is the leader of Camp Half-Blood, is now black. So Percy Jackson, a white person, is literally being mentored and taken care of by an actual magical Negro. That's really weird. The son of Hermes is now
one
a
of you make
Asian
sure
kid.
that those words are on my tombstone.
that it's kind of weird.
Mentored by a magical Negro.
I was going to do magical space.
Those words.
And Luke, the son of
Space
Hermes,
Negro from outer space.
Yeah. Luke, the son of Hermes, is now being played by a half Asian kid, like a California Chinese mixed with a white person. And that's not weird
Asians don't run fast.
It's kind of weird in the broader context of just
they don't even drive well.
It doesn't make sense. So Percy, the real deep thing that I'm surprised all of the leftward pod people aren't having problems with is Percy's being portrayed as a schizophrenic. Of course, it turns out schizophrenia means you're actually part Greek god, which does sound like something a schizophrenic would say.
Man, that's been the problem this whole time.
Look, as Ayrton's agent, knowing that he is actually Jesus Christ, I'm going to have to ask you to retract that.
And the school, knowing Percy Jackson is a schizophrenic.
Actually, that plays out because I do hate Greek people.
And all the students at the school, knowing he is schizophrenic, and the school kicking him out because of a bully, that's really, really weird and really, really exploitative. Now, his mom is also part of the Roman ideological perspective on Athena, which is, again, weird coming from the lore of Percy Jackson. That the Roman gods were actually the bad guys, but then they later become the good guys.
When do we get into the fun part of Percy Jackson, which was supposed to be the whole point of the stories?
I mean, what does being fun have to do with the modern media context?
You know that media is not about fun. Media is about thinking about social issues and problems.
It's true.
How dare you?
Fun is literally fascism.
Look, I can't breathe with you two talking right now. I just need you both to take a step back.
Well, that's good though, Church, because breathing leads to global warming, as they've now found out.
And
No, no, no,
quite
no, no.
frankly,
I
how
am
dare
a I
you
am
have
a building. I am a building of color. I need to breathe.
well, how dare you? How dare you have breathing, Church? Those people in the inner city don't get to breathe good air. It is privilege that you get the clean air.
No, no. It's good
Fucker.
water that we don't get, Ron. Good water. The air is fine.
I mean,
China would like
you.
to disagree.
I mean,
We're,
Church.
we're
Church, you
American here, Ron. We don't care about the Chinese. They're inferior.
Church, where you're located, you get the water made out of corn liquor.
Rune, Flint, Michigan would like to have a word with you.
Yeah, but
Uh,
I mean, those are the blue collar working class people who don't
No,
exist
they're
in
not.
America because we're all
No, they're
broke down.
not.
but
I mean, the
the-
blue collar squatting looting class people.
but
No, I'm
the
just saying,
first-
if you ask the social elites who believe in this bullshit church, poor people don't exist. So nobody lives in Flint, Michigan, except for rightist extremists who want to live there and
That's the
are
most
making up
base thing you've ever said, Rune. Keep it going.
problems.
I mean, we need to review that academic study.
I've got a peer-reviewed study right here that says... says you're a pussy.
Well, I mean, I can't counter with Professor Duke. Professor Duke is
Mr.
often
Newcomb.
right.
But
Professor Newcomb.
the second episode of the show was basically like the intro sequence in
How
Cal.
dare you call a professor by his first name, you bigot.
Now, the children from Aries' house were the central students at Camp Half Blood who were bullying Percy, and they were bullying him because he beat up a Minotaur, and they believed he was faking it, which is a weird flex. So, how do you think that the kids from Aries' house decided to first bully young Percy Jackson?
Panty raid.
No,
Noogie.
Okay.
Swirly.
no.
Crosses on fire in front of his dorm room.
Swirly is the thing. They are about to put Percy Jackson into the toilet bowl, and then his Poseidon powers kick in.
Wait, are
and
they
they
high school
explode
bullies
wa-
circa 1996?
Yes, and then the water explodes out of the toilet and punishes the bullies. And then later,
When did King
Percy.
Adeline come in?
No, but Harry Potter was so much better than that. Like, he
It's
set a
not.
snake loose on his bully.
Now, there was a good moment where Luke tells Percy, "Hey, if you get glory, none of the bullies will bother you, and the teachers will
Luke
respect you."
Skywalker from the Star Wars movies?
No, Luke, the son of Hermes.
Oh, no. It should have been Luke Skywalker. That would have been better.
I mean, they should have made Luke Skywalker Zeus, and that could still be in the cards. And then Percy Jackson, fails to get glory, fails to get glory, then he gets glory.
If they had Mark Hamill be Zeus and then Zeus tried to kill his children, it actually would not be as off-brand as Luke Skywalker trying to kill his students.
Oh, and then Zeus could go crazy and reveal himself to be one of the three Jokers, tying in Percy Jackson to the DC universe.
But if you like Percy Jackson, this show isn't terrible, though I don't like the actress who plays Annabeth Chase, and I think all of the child actors are kind of terrible. They're not very good. But I mean, most children aren't good at acting. I mean, Norm explained it best.
What are you, retarded? So I know you're not retarded, but what are you, Down syndrome?
But
So
we're
BC,
going to.
if you're watching this and you need another awesome franchise to start, Downey Jackson. Downey Jackson would be an awesome movie series.
I'm going to disavow that.
But I picked up 2 comic books.
Yeah, but you're going to watch it, aren't you?
I picked up 2 comic books for review. One of them I picked up Dawn of DC, Superman number 9. So in the last issue, Superman had gotten beaten up by somebody hopped up on kryptonite powers, and Superman is in a solar healing chamber. And the comic opens up in a very interesting way. Lois is reading Superman's fan mail to him while he's healing. And they actually spend 1, 2,
Does he have
3.
a mailbox? Like, how does he get fan mail?
It's on his Instagram. He just has a link to his PO box.
I mean, I
So
would
there's
actually assume it's similar to like how Santa Claus gets mail. The
Yeah.
post office gets Santa letters.
No, for real. If you're putting Superman in the modern day situation, he has an Instagram and he has a PO box.
And that's 3 pages. And
Clark would be too much of a
Lois
boomer to know how to do that.
and Lois is kind of screwing things up because she's having to deal with Clark being, wounded and sick, and it's the first time she's ever had to deal with that.
Clark's like 40 in modern times, if we're going off like modern retcons.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
And Superman eventually gets
set up an Instagram and a PO box. What's your point?
Okay, you're also not a superhero, a supermodel, or an OnlyFans woman.
You don't know
of 40 years
yet.
Yeah,
and Superman gets the people who work at LexCorp to modify Lex power armor, so he can have armor to help him be safe while he goes out and fights one of Lex's, secret arch nemesis, who's a mad scientist who's in a wheelchair. And I am shocked that in hashtag current year, they're going to make somebody in a wheelchair a villain. Not only is the person in a wheelchair a villain, it looks vaguely like Tim Curry from Rocky Horror Picture Show in a wheelchair.
Tim Curry was in Rocky Horror Picture Show in a wheelchair.
Yeah.
There was a table reading a while back where he was sitting in his wheelchair, and they did the Rocky Horror Picture Show. So Frankenfurter has been in a wheelchair.
And the villain then activates some power armor. Superman fights the villain, and Superman and a black superhero get transported back to the Old West times for some reason.
Wait,
That's
so
the
are
end of
you
the
telling me that we've reduced ourselves to the point to where our Superman stories now have to have Iron Man subplots to be interesting?
No, the whole subplot with LexCorp is Lex and Superman are becoming friends and allies, and Lex is trying to get Superman to trust him and believe he's a good guy. And so Lex,
but the end result is Superman in power armor fighting a villain in power armor.
Right, but Superman was in power armor because he had gotten beaten up by the results of this other villain's machinations.
The real problem here, as I see it, is the authors and potentially the artists, although we all know the artists are robots now, really seem to idolize the worst eras of Batman and Superman. Because I don't have a problem with Superman fighting a villainous supervillain. I don't have a problem with him doing it in a power armor because he beat up. But I want to know, why the Old West? Why the random shunt to another time and place?
And this is the Old West where... Well, this is an Old West, old-timey West, where there's an old-timey Nightwing on the train. And that's the teaser for the next story.
But why, though?
Because that's what the next story is going to be about, superheroes in the Old West.
Why, though?
Because, Rune, just as we found out in the Power Rangers, there are always Rangers and there's always the Justice League.
Not relevant. Yep. The actual thing here is that the only reason to send Superman back in the past to the timey-wimey Wild West is to encounter Jonah Hex. And it better be part of an actual ongoing narrative. Otherwise, it's literally...
That's too interesting, Rune. We can't do that.
Do you remember this?
No one can write that.
Breather who remembers this? Ooh!
Well, Rune, in fairness, this is all about secret history. And so this is Superman going back to the origin of the secret history, so we can learn about it from Superman as he experiences it.
You know what else you could do? Just throwing this out there. You know what you could do? You could have a wounded and beat to shit Superman as a beat to shit Clark Kent use his holy shit actual intelligence as a newspaper reporter to discover shit in old documents and research and have a self-contained
The
story
problem
that is
the problem
bridged
is
by
the
Superman
problem
reading
is
it.
the
Weirdest
problem
fucking
is
thing.
the problem is they've given that story arc to Lois already in this comic.
Then you don't need to do it for Superman. Have Superman beat the bad guy. Have Superman go back to his fucking hospital bed. Have Lois do the thing. Easy. Why are we fucking it up?
I don't mind this plot arc, but I want to move on to something I like better: Conan.
Well,
in comic.
before you get to Conan, I actually have like an interlude.
Hmm.
So I saw in my Google suggestions this week
Mhm.
that 30 plus years of Wolverine, like what's the word I'm looking for? Just
Uncut
chaotic
Canadian
healing
bacon.
factor. No, his healing factor being not consistent, inconsistent healing factor. That was all explained away in one line of dialogue in a comic book. They've now made Wolverine's healing factor determinant on how much he's eaten and how many calories he can actually burn before he starts starving.
Well, that's
I mean,
fucking
that's stupid.
retarded. We've always said that's retarded. Because see that goes actually into deep lore for people who are paying attention because of a paper written by Doug Ramsey about how mutant powers actually work, because mutant powers defy human biology. If
It's true.
Wolverine has to eat food to regenerate, then guess what? That means that fucking Colossus has to eat 3 times as much food to have metal skin!
I'm just telling you what I heard, Rune. I just
Fucking retarded!
He survived for like a week trapped in an iceberg by cutting off.
I mean, just because, well, that means that all of Wolverine's regenerative cells would have had to come from some unknown black hole in the universe connected to mutant powers.
Look. I think Norm has the definitive opinion on this whole fan fiction comic theory.
Now, this might strike some viewers as harsh, but I believe everyone involved in this story should die.
Here's the thing.
The problem is it's not fan fiction though. It's in a comic book. It's actually been made canon now.
No, that's the thing. Their perspective is not we're going to make or improve canon. Their perspective is that if we put it in the book, you must accept it as canon, even if it's fucking retarded, even if it contradicts what we already made, even if it doesn't actually improve the material we made, because your opinion doesn't matter, because you're the fucking consumer.
Well, and again, I have to play devil's advocate on things like this, just because it infuriates you. I have to come out and I have to say it's been done successfully with characters like the Flash and the Martian Manhunter. It's been done successfully with characters like Lobo. So explaining away that he has to eat an inhuman amount of calories to maintain regeneration, and that's why he constantly drinks beer even though he can't get drunk.
Except he does, and we know he can, and he has.
But he can't in canon as well, right?
No, he absolutely can.
But he can't in canon as well. Like, nobody's ever, there've been both, is what I'm saying. There've been both in canon.
For most of his run.
The actual answer is you don't touch this. It doesn't need an answer. We don't need to know how Wolverine's powers work. It's just sufficient to say they work. And when you say,
but sometimes really they don't work as well as others, is what I'm getting at, and that's what this aims to explain.
Except
he might not have gone on a bender the night before that it takes him a little while to heal from an adamantium bullet, as opposed to being able to regenerate himself from a single drop of blood, Lobo style.
Okay, let's go with that. So Wolverine goes on a bender the night before. He's full of calories. Oh wait, alcohol's fucking poison, Church. It's actually bad for your biology.
Again, this argument is really
maybe your biology.
This argument is really setting me up for the mood for the Rebel Moon review. So I would like to read from this delicious Conan book. That this is the sort of thing that is peak comics. This is the book where in this Conan run there is a plot, there's a story, but they're also introducing new people to Conan. And this is where we first see Bellet in this run of the comic.
I gotta ask, is this also the last of the Chuck Dixon run? Because they just lost that.
No. Chuck Dixon's doing his own Conan that's public domain Conan.
Okay.
This is the official Conan run by the Howard Estate and Titan Comics.
Okay.
So I'm going to read the dialogue of Conan because it ties into our introduction to Shad's character in last week's episode of how you introduce a character.
Whose character?
Shadiversity's comic book we talked about last week.
Did we?
We did.
I don't remember that.
That's why you don't remember it. So let's read the words of Conan the Cimmerian. Time is a thief, heartless, cruel. It steals our vibrant spirit to feed its endless march. After traveling east for many months, Conan swept back to the west, wandering from city to city in search of something more. Fleeing from a port in Argos, the shipping vessel he stowed away on was raided by a pirate ship called the Tigress. By the end of that raid, he joined the pirate crew, led by a Shemite beauty named Belit. At her side, the Cimmerian found the passion he'd been missing and enough treasure to last a lifetime, however long that may be. And then Belit talks to Conan in bed. We don't get the opportunity to see, good boobies, but there's implied boobies in the image. My
Do
love,
you guys ever
strong.
just sit there and kind of wish that COVID was as deadly as they were saying it was going to be?
No, but that's also going to help my mood for talking about Rebel Moon.
Look,
My
Aaron,
love-
you're never going to get to explode in front of the Illuminati with airborne Ebola. Just give it up.
Yeah.
Don't take away my dreams, okay?
My love is stronger than any death. I have lain in your arms, panting with the violence of our love. My heart is welded to your heart. My soul is a part of your soul. Their confidence carried them up the Zarkiban River, intent on even more treasure and glory. And we
This
see
is worse than when rappers rhyme the N-word with the N-word.
What? What?
I said this is worse than when rappers rhyme the N-word with the N-word.
I appreciate that gave you half a stop as your brain slipped the hamster wheel.
Yes. Their confidence carried them up the Zarkiba River, intent on even more treasure and glory. Now, those words are showing a picture of Conan defeated, his enemies all dead around him, but the woman he loves hanging from the yardarm. Their confidence died in those forbidden jungles, stained with monstrous blood and the stench of the Black Lotus. And Conan is looking on as her ship burns and she has a Viking funeral. And we see Conan drunk, sitting at a tavern table. Time is a thief. And once a spirit is taken, left in their wake, there is only emptiness. And that's some Conan story. That is some good, solid Conan story. And in this, we have Conan being a thief in the city of thieves, breaking into a temple to steal something for the god of thieves, which is a piece of the necromantic artifact that has been featured in the previous issues here. And Conan, once again, is about to experience the unleashing of the artifact of necromantic power that is connected to Thulsa Doom. If you're not reading the Conan comic book, you should. Do something nice for yourself. It's a very good comic book. It's beautiful. It's pretty. You should do it.
I mean, the text by itself without a visual is not so great, but I mean, it could be.
I mean,
Larry. You remember the thing that I proposed to you about a week or two ago? And we never got around to doing a second time.
That's right.
Where we
did.
talk about where we talk about the flavor text on Doctor Who cards.
Let's finish with Rebel Moon first because I wanna give that piece of awful its due.
Okay, all right. I'm gonna
Oh, it's
find a
actually
couple of
funny.
good ones.
People are trying to defend it now.
They are, and to those people, luckily Ayrton did provide some context.
What?
Redditor's not welcome here.
Oh yeah, correct.
So this movie is bad. It is easily the worst thing Zack Snyder has ever made, and potentially the worst thing I've seen in all of 2023, which will go down as one of the worst years in the history of movies.
Worse
It is
than Man of Murder. Wow.
Yes, worse than Man of Murder by far, because Man of Murder at least had a narrative that involved characters. So I want you to visualize something. Now imagine, if you will, we take the entire Horus Heresy books, which is 30 odd books. We throw them in a blender. We throw all 9 Star Wars movies into the blender. We throw Firefly. We throw that into the blender. We throw Dune. We throw Dune into the blender. We take the Roman Empire. We throw the Roman Empire into the blender.
I have played this game. It doesn't work.
Wait. We're not done. We're not done. We take Vikings. We throw them into the blender. We take Amish people. We throw them into the blender. We take Korean action movies. We throw those into the blender. And then what we do is we take the loose plot skeleton of Seven Samurai and we drowned it in the sludge of world building that I have just described. 90% of the movie is exposition scenes. And of those exposition scenes, at least half are flashbacks. So the movie starts with our main character on what I'm classifying as Space Amish Planet. Now, well, let me rephrase that. Before we get to Space Amish Planet, we see the Imperial spaceship from Motherworld coming through a space vagina. It's a wormhole, but the wormhole
I love me
absolutely
a good
looks
vagina.
absolutely looks like a vagina.
Yes, you did, Ayrton. You loved the space vagina right up until it
And
didn't let go.
And also, this is not the first time that this happened. In Man of Steel, Superman had the Kryptonians use dildo-shaped craft to fly into outer space. So this is a weird thing that Zack Snyder does. And
Wait, so Jeff Bezos is in the Star Wars universe?
No, we don't have. We're not going to get into that yet. So our main character is plowing with a space horse that has like a Cubone thing on its head, and she puts her hands in to smell the dirt. And this is my first immediate problem when I was watching the.
Vagina smell like dirt.
No, the dirt that smells like poop because you're plowing the dirt with a space horse.
Oh, I just heard
of course,
hands in, and it smells like dirt, so I assumed they were putting their hands
No,
in the space
no.
vagina, because what else are you going to do to one?
And then our main character girl gets told, well, you need to go to the festival. It's the Harvest Festival, where the leader of the spatial Amish community tells everybody they need to have sex and get pregnant to as their duty to their gods to have the fertility of the planet be rewarded.
And this is a Native American thing based around the god Kokopelli.
Yeah, I was gonna say that is not a Rumspringa sort of thing.
No, but I mean they're basically they're living a technologically simpler life. That's why I'm calling them space Amish. And then we get our first exposition dump.
I have to ask Larry, do they play hacky sack?
They do not.
Because when Star Trek had their space Amish,
that's actually one of their fetishes, Rune. They play hacky sack in the bedroom.
An entire 5 minutes and gave Gates McFadden dialogue to laud their amazing hand-eye coordination because they played fucking hacky sack in the 90s.
Yes.
Jesus Christ.
So then we get our first exposition dump where main character's adopted father talks about how they found her mysteriously with her mysterious spaceship crash, and they help nurse her back to health mysteriously, and how she needs to get laid. And then she's later talking to one of her girlfriends who says her brother totally wants to have sex with her. And this is a non-binary female presenting character. And this is a decision that Zack Snyder, a LGBTQ plus up, down, right, left, right, ampersand ally individual is putting into this movie. And
I don't have enough alcohol here to listen to this bullshit.
What?
I don't have enough alcohol here to listen to this bullshit.
Oh no. We're still in the good part of the movie. It gets worse, Ayrton.
The smelling the horse shit is the good part of the movie.
I'm putting my pants back on and leaving.
I'm gonna take my pants off and leave. Just to assert my dominance over this shit.
No. The good part of the movie goes between the horse
Trade
poop
pants with
and
me?
What was that?
It goes. The good part of the movie goes between the horse poop and the rape scene.
You want to trade pants with me?
It must be a Zack Snyder movie.
Sure,
He loves his unnecessary rape scenes.
Sure, I'll trade pants with you any day.
So the spaceship arrives, and it is basically the Warhammer 40K portion of the giant pastiche.
Look, Larry, the pants negotiation is infinitely more interesting than whatever you're talking about right now.
Well, hold on.
I'm gonna need you to put this on the back burner.
Look, I believe Norm had something to say about this. Some kind of commie gobbledygook, I believe.
I mean, sure, that's one option, but here's another.
Not a chance. Not this time. It never happened. It never happened. We made this one up. It's fiction.
I mean, I prefer that. I'd prefer if instead of having to listen to Rebel Moon, Jonathan Frakes came out with that epic fucking beard as like, all of this, we made it up.
What pants you wear?
But so
I'm wearing karate pants right now.
So
because I wear 3230, and I don't know.
My pants are too big for you, but I could fit your pants on one of my legs.
Oh, okay. So
what? No.
But so the Warhammer 40K people show up, and our protagonist says, "Hey, listen, don't deal with these guys. Tell them to fuck off." And the leader of the Space Amish is like, "Listen, we don't have enough food for you and for us." And the leader of the Warhammer 40K army is all like, "No, I want your food." And then somebody else says, "Well, maybe we could do enough food for both." And
you're gonna eat your cornbread.
And then the leader of the Space Amish gets murdered, and they leave a army of occupation on the planet to keep it in control. And the actors in the Army of Occupation are all South Africans, which is fucking amazing.
The moral of the story, ladies and gentlemen, is to never be protective of your cornbread.
It's true.
Because that huge black man asking if you're going to eat it or not, he'll fuck you for that cornbread.
all I can see in my head now, Church, is a version of Frank Herbert's Dune, where the Fremen are large black men, and they're like, the cornbread of my cornbread merges with your cornbread.
And I was hoping all you could see in your head was Church.
That's how the movie actually happened, right?
Right.
So we later have a exposition dump from Sir Anthony Hopkins as a robot, talking about how the dead Space Emperor had an army of loyal robots, and they had a prince.
Wait, this is actually pertinent. They have their lore dump exposition with Anthony Hopkins.
This is the second one he does.
Movie?
He does two. He does one at the immediate introduction of the movie, and then one later as the robot.
Okay.
And he tells this girl that, there was a there's a magical princess who the robots would all listen to and then proceed to murder things for. But all the robot army, can't murder because there's no true king or queen to follow. This will be important later during the rape scene. Because who's the woman that the South African soldiers decided to rape? The one that Robot Anthony Hopkins liked. And the rape scene is one of the best directed scenes in the whole
I'd
movie.
rather EFAP the LoCal podcast than listen to any more of this. I'm not gonna lie.
I just have a question.
Sure.
Is Anthony Hopkins' classification cuckbot or simpbot?
I would say simpbot. But hold up. So you have a degenerate soldier who was being, scolded by his superior officer earlier when he was being abusive to the civilians. But when he brings the woman back to the barracks for a raping, he's like going, hey, not so fast. I get to rape her first. And that is actually a well-acted scene. And then our main character comes in and does slow-mo action fighting against a bunch of big men. So it is the trope of the small woman, fighting men with very weird cuts and edits of a film. But instead of, doing like the cuts that actually hide things, like most action films, Snyder just does extreme slow-mo.
So that brings up, I have a question, a cinematic question about this, because we all know Zack Snyder likes his Pretorius slow-mo. Did he use that during the rape scenes?
The rape never actually got to happen because our hero stops it before it goes into rape.
With slow-mo.
Did you just say never got to happen?
Yeah. There was a rape scene, but the rape was interrupted.
Rapus interruptus.
I was actually about to say that.
And one of the soldiers chooses to betray the Empire. Yep, and one of the soldiers chooses to betray the Empire and side with her, as well as the robot, murdering all the soldiers. And then everybody's going, what are you going to do? You killed the Empire soldiers. They're going to murder all of us. And she's like, nah, I'm going to find a ragtag band of adventurers from other places in the galaxy. And they're all going to come here and defend this planet.
Yeah, one of which is 3 kobolds and a nerd in a trench coat.
Well, we haven't gotten to the Spider Lady. We'll get to the Spider Lady. Because now we're getting to the part where things stop making any form of sense.
By the way, guys, I'm in the next Guardians of the Galaxy movie. That's 3 kobolds and a nerd in a trench coat.
So they go to essentially Mos Eisley, which is on the Space Amish planet. Why is it on the Space Amish planet? Don't know. And there's a man who's having some sort of tentacle alien plunging its tentacles into and out of holes in his body. And the man is shown to be in sexual ecstasy as the tentacle alien is pumping him.
Speaking of Space Mos Eisley, I forgot that was one of the comparisons I made to Aquaman too. Is it was like the writing was like George Lucas without the editors, and there was no bullshit. A underwater like space seedy club jazz music scene with unintelligible gibberish going on during the movie.
Mm-hmm. And the first tentacle sex we see in this movie is one of 2. We're going to see 2 sets of tentacle sex in this movie.
Yeah, I was going to say, when you say the first, this implies that there is more. Why did we need more tentacle sex?
I mean, more bang for your buck, right?
And there is a piece of device done by the de facto Adeptus Mechanicus.
First time I've been interested in anything Larry's been talking about.
And then later, when the heavy of the movie is badly beaten and nearly dead, the Adeptus Mechanicus have mechanical tentacles have sex with him, so he can go into the Matrix and talk to the evil space emperor.
Wait, Andrew Tate.
Oh, I've seen this movie. It was Matrix 3, right?
No, because this makes less sense than Matrix 3.
Wait, you said less?
Less.
Oh, okay. Guys, I got one thing to say.
And they find at Space Moss Eisley a Han Solo archetype type character. But unlike what George Lucas did, where it was the rogue with the heart of gold, he decides to do the other thing.
Did the tentacles give the character a handy Solo?
No.
Or was it a group thing?
No, the tentacles were penetrating the person who was getting the tentacles.
Oh, that sounds much fun. I was picturing like a bunch of tentacles like wrapped around my neck.
No. It's like a small tentacle pod. So the de facto Han Solo takes them on a trip to find all of the other Magnificent Seven type people. And we don't spend any time
Do we start
talking
calling
to them.
Intel's Han Solo?
I'll allow it. So, as de facto Han Solo takes everybody to meet the band of plucky individuals who all, the Empire wants them to be dead. And there's like a general who was a great general, a tactical genius until he surrendered his forces, saving his men, but embarrassing the Empire.
Was this Admiral Akbar?
It was not Admiral Akbar, no.
I'm going to leave it.
And let me quote you the running time on Rebel Moon. Just a second.
Can you give this review in 2x speed? Because I'm...
This would go faster if you didn't keep interrupting. So the runtime for Rebel Moon is 2 hours and 14 minutes.
Yeah, but me interrupting is the only thing making it bearable, you prick.
I mean, look, I am unwell right now. And I am frankly hoping that I have to use the restroom so that I can get away from this specific subject, because I'd rather be unwell.
I've been muted playing Bing Bang Wahoo for like the last 20 minutes.
Look. I'm trying to get the point.
Gas station sushi, so I don't have to listen to the podcast.
You didn't fall asleep during this shit, Larry. Why do you care to talk about it?
Because I need to share my pain with my friends and the dozens of people who
You're trying to trauma bond us. That's gay as shit.
Larry, I'm not sure we can be called friends after this.
He's trying to trauma bond us, Rune, like we're in the military and have been to combat.
You guys' parade will be in the mail next week.
I can just see it now. We're all gonna be sitting at the convention, theoretically streaming, and it's just gonna be real quiet. We're gonna be playing, Ayrton's gonna be playing the guitar. It's gonna be like, "What do you guys do?" It's like, "I remember the Rebel Moon. I remember I used to be happy before the dark times."
I'm still playing Diablo 2 on the same Switch.
Again, trying to get through this quickly as I can. So they find various people who we all have to do
on their wedding night.
So we have to do exposition dumps. The only thing that's interesting is the Korean sword lady, because she fights a spider monster. The spider monster, which has the most believable motivations. It's a humanoid spider person. She wants to take babies and eat them.
Oh, Hillary Clinton's in this movie?
I mean, that is one way to headcanon this movie.
Oh wait, sorry, I just saw an update. No, they cast Nikki Haley for that, not Hillary Clinton. Hillary Clinton's too dated.
And this movie cuts scenes with action, but not in a way that makes you think they've cut anything insignificant out of the action. So there's a version of this movie that's over 4 hours. So some of the action scenes have been cut to.
I'm just glad Peter Jackson's still getting work.
So, as I was trying to say, there are action scenes that are cut, so they don't make a lot of sense. And also, you just randomly find people. Like the general they were looking for, they just find him in a gutter on a planet.
Man,
he's a gladiator, but for some reason he's in a gutter. They just find him randomly. And then they go to the planet of the squid Jewish people, I'm calling them the Squid Jewish people because they use a lot of
Jewish
Jewish naming
people allowed to eat
conventions. They're
squid?
squids.
I mean,
They're
why
not. They're not.
I mean, why not Zoidberg?
And the Squid Jewish people enable them to meet with the rebels, who are all painted up like a combination of Native Americans and Vikings.
Wait. So if Jewish people can't eat squid, then that means the squid Jewish people can't give each other oral sex. That is a horrible society.
Well, it's okay. They get genocided in this movie. You think I'm kidding?
I mean, do they Akbar?
No,
They do not
laughing at the
Akbar.
fact that you said it's okay.
I'm not saying it's okay. I'm saying it's a thing that happened in this movie. I said it's a thing that happened.
Clip that out, please.
And I mean, they're being genocided got them out of this movie. It really, that was a mercy.
Okay, hour 17. All right, I'm clipping that out.
So, then they get some of the rebels to join them, and then the Han Solo guy says, "Hey, great, I'm all about helping you free your planet, but we just got to do this side job. I got this side job we got to do, and it's him having the Empire arrest them."
So it's literally Han Solo actually pulling his job for Jabba the Hutt, so he doesn't get grabbed later.
Is this movie just
Right.
Anne Frank in space?
No, that'd be better.
So eventually, the one guy who was the farmer who set up the whole conflict, he's being told, "Listen, use the paralyzer gun to separate their brainstem from their non-autonomic nervous functions, so we can transport them easier." And he instead frees them. They fight, and the bad guy gets knocked off of the edge of these.
Wait, that would be harder to transport somebody. Have you ever tried to pick somebody up when they've gone boneless? Like, come
Well,
on.
not boneless. Like when the nervous system doesn't work.
Yeah, well, go boneless. Like, you let everything go limp. It's impossible to pick somebody up when they do that.
Well, that's okay because they have spider robots that carry them around.
Spider bot.
I thought this was a Star Wars
does
movie, not the
whatever
Madam
a
Web
spider
people.
bot does.
So they fight the bad guys. They blow up his spaceship for the bad guys, and then the bad guy gets thrown off the side of a cliff and gets left for dead. And then our heroes go back to the space Amish village, and then we find out that our hero is actually the daughter of the evil space emperor. She was also the personal bodyguard for the good space emperor and his daughter. And she's the best friend of the good. Yeah. And this is supposed to set us up for a second movie. But before the second movie, there's the 4 hour and 30-minute version that's rated R of this movie. They have a weird digital squibbing effect. So the lasers are sometimes lasers, and sometimes they just explode in a reddish splooge. I don't understand why. It's weird.
I'm updating our hand Solo definition from incels to Snyder Bros.
I mean, that's the same picture, Aaron.
It's
the same
slightly
picture.
different.
This
Snyder
was
Bros
bad.
jerk off more.
This was worse than Sucker Punch because at least Sucker Punch understood how to use its visuals to tell its story. The problem with the story of Sucker Punch is it was terrible.
Well, yeah, but he's doing a sequel to Sucker Punch. Haven't you heard? So we get more fan fiction based on a bad fan fiction.
And by the way, this movie has a prequel comic coming out written by Max Visaggio. And they're working on a video game for it. The problem with the visuals in this is like they say, hey, what if we go to like a space desert and we got a guy, right? And for him to get out of his space slavery, he has to write a hippogriff. And that's the whole scene in the movie. What does the hippogriff have to really do with anything? It looks cool, bro. And like, what if we have the space general, right?
Wait. A hippogriff?
A hippogriff.
So EVS is in this movie?
No. No.
Oh.
Ethan has too much taste to be in this movie. And he's from New Jersey.
Don't remind me.
That explains so many things.
But a hippogriff is a griffin horse hybrid.
Wouldn't it be a hippo?
No, hippo is the ancient Greek thing for horses. Hippopotamus is water horse. That's what the ancient Greeks called hippopotamus.
I don't think Greek people ever saw horses before.
I mean, they did. They had horses.
Not if they thought hippos looked like horses.
No, they thought hippos looked like horses that were in the water.
But they don't. They look like EVS when he's in the water.
But yeah, in another aspect, it's like, hey, what if we take this like legendary space general, right? Well, we make him a hobo gladiator, and then there's a whole scene where our characters have to wash him, so he's not filthy and dirty. That is the level of thought that goes into how scenes are constructed, how visuals are used.
They did that in the Wolverine. When he gets to Japan.
Okay, so putting aside jokes, everything that Larry has described about this film, not just its use of tropes, but the specific scenes described, literally sounds like this was done in another film and it worked, therefore it'll work here, without considering why those things worked in the specific films that they were used in. At every level.
Also, when the guy has to jump on the hippogriff in the air, his running to jump is done in slow motion, and then the slow motion in the slow motion jump, so they could hit the exact spot where he jumps on the hippogriff with the light from the sun and the planet on it. All of those things, by the way, are done in CGI. So you don't need to slow motion that.
See, this is what I mean. This is what I mean when I talk about fan fiction. Is the person making this is showing a active disdain for his audience.
It's good to have contempt for your audience.
That's the thing. This is clearly Zack Snyder saying, you motherfuckers don't care what I make. You'll eat anything, so eat this. And I fucking hate it.
And there's all sorts of weird camera angles because Zack Snyder thinks he's a good cinematographer.
Well, people kept telling him he was.
What movies has he made?
Well, he's made Batman v Superman.
Okay,
he's made Man of Murder. He's made Sucker Punch. He made a good George Romero remake. He did a spiritual successor movie to the George Romero movies starring Dave Bautista, which was very uncomfortable because it was basically a movie about his daughter's suicide using zombies as a way to express and rape to express his guilt about his daughter's suicide. And also, he was finally able to have a zombie give birth to a zombie baby.
Well, no, that happened in Land of the Dead.
Right, but that zombie was unsuccessful. That baby zombie didn't make it. This was one that was a successfully born zombie baby.
He needed a successful zombie baby.
I don't think I've seen a Zack Snyder movie that's good.
Here's the thing. He did one good movie. It was Land of the Dead.
Well, Land of the Dead 300 was good.
No, it wasn't.
Again, but 300 was basically him doing shot for shot how Frank Miller laid out the comic book.
And it still wasn't very good. Here's the thing. 300 is an example of where the problems start. Because either he or some Hollywood shill or Frank Miller all agreed, hey, you know what if we took these dudes out of their historically accurate armor that we've totally made and put them in battle thongs?
Well, no, that was actually Frank Miller in the comic book.
No, in the comic book they actually wear their armor.
I thought they didn't have the historically accurate armor in the comic book. Well, then
They
it was
didn't-
Zack Snyder deciding that they
it was
need to
not-
be even more gay than standard for a
It
Greek
was
man.
not. It was not 100% historically accurate, but it wasn't like historically
Oily-
accurate. It was
It wasn't.
Hollywood
It
levels.
wasn't. It
of
wasn't
armor.
oily. It wasn't oily Greek men with capes.
Yeah. Yeah,
Well,
no, the movie
that
was
brings-
oily Greek men with capes.
That brings me to an announcement. Check out after the first of the year the Church of Failure store to see our modern tactical battle armor thongs.
He also did the Watchmen movie, which was not good.
Fucking awful.
And the reason the Watchmen movie was terrible is they took out the squid, which
No.
makes it ironic that
No,
there's
no,
tentacle sex
that's
in this
not.
movie.
That's not what made that movie awful. What made that movie awful was watching a 40-year-old man's ass undulate in slow motion as he thrust into a woman and then hard cutting to outside his floating vehicle where a giant fucking fireball ejected from the front weapon port.
Wait,
Because
Grim, were
this
you looking at my window last night?
because
We're talking about
this
the Watchmen.
is cinema. Yeah, no, that happens in fucking Watchmen movie. I saw it in theater at midnight. I was fucking revolted. And I believe, did not Zack Snyder also direct the Spirit film?
That's a good question. Let me check. Because the 2008 Spirit movie, which was garbage. Director was Frank Miller.
Ah, they actually let Frank behind the camera. That was a horrible mistake.
Yes.
So, out of every movie you've listed, Watchmen is the only one that I didn't absolutely hate.
I don't know. The Spirit was pretty good. I didn't mind it.
Now hold up, Rune. In fairness, Frank directed two of the Sin City movies. He has director credits on.
I know, because they had to give. It's not that they had to give him director credits, but he and Robert Rodriguez had to scheme to sidestep Hollywood bullshit because they couldn't let Frank do the whole film because he's not what is it, SAG? Not SAG. Whatever the director's guild
The
is.
Directors Guild of America.
Yeah,
Oh, fag.
probably.
But yeah. Rebel Moon was terrible. It is a literal hate crime.
I'm gonna report you to the ACL after the stream is over, Larry, for making me listen to your review of it.
I mean, you shouldn't have like accessorized that million of the chosen people that just died.
Anyway, so Church,
Are you
said
are you ready?
You said,
Are you ready
said
for
you had
this?
some magic cards.
I do.
But
Yeah.
let me do a palate cleanser before we do that.
Yeehaw! God damn, I sure love shooting shit. Fuck yeah! I love my country. We shall drive the mongrel dogs of the British Empire from Morrowind. Then we will shoot up the Mages Guild and double our slavery. Yeah! God damn! I'm going to drone strike a hospital. Who's going to stop me?
Man,
There
I
we
didn't know
go.
AI could bring
I mean,
Abraham Lincoln into the
when did
21st century.
when did you upload an Obama speech to the soundboard?
That was a better joke than mine.
So hit me with the magic card, Church.
Oh, okay. All right, you ready for this?
I'm ready.
All right, I'm gonna start off with an easy one. Ice World, a space trading colony on the dark side of the planet Svartos. I think there's something interesting going on there, Mel.
12th Doctor.
Seventh Doctor.
7th Doctor. Okay.
Seventh Doctor. You want to guess what kind of card it is?
It's a blue because it's an ice planet.
It is blue.
What's it do?
It enters the battlefield tapped unless you can control a plains or an island.
Interesting. All right. Hit me again.
Glacial Fortress. It taps for a white or a blue, and it comes in untapped if you control a plains or an island.
All right. What do we got next?
Venezia. Lacerissima. Impossible City. Preposterous City.
Fourth Doctor?
11th Doctor.
I was about to say Matt Smith, the Impossible City, or the Impossible Planet. I think was the episode name.
Yeah, you're right.
That's another blue and white land. I'm throwing you softballs right here. I don't know what you're doing.
I was super into Doctor Who until halfway through Peter Capaldi. So
yeah. So let's try this again.
We're on the Thames. The last great frost fair, 1814, February the 4th.
That is 12th Doctor.
That is 12th Doctor. You want to give any insight on what you think the card might be?
It's a blue land.
The blue and red land.
Blue and red land.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Let's try this again.
Everybody lives, Rose. Just this once, everybody lives.
Oh, that's easy. That's the 9th Doctor.
That is the 9th Doctor.
That's from an iconic episode for the 9th Doctor.
What do you think the card is?
Some sort of reviving card, which would be either a blue or a white.
It is white. All creatures gain hexproof and indestructible until the end of turn. Players gain hexproof until the end of turn. Players can't lose life this turn. Players can't lose the game or win the game this turn.
Well, that second part about not winning the game that turn, that's not cool.
No, I mean it's pretty standard. Like, you can't use it to cheat a win out, but whoever's trying to cheat a win out isn't going to cheat that win out because they can't win the game this turn.
All right, hit me with another one.
All right, last one. Strictly speaking, it's the 15th New York since the original. So that makes it New York.
10th Doctor, David Tennant.
That is the 10th Doctor, David Tennant. What do you think the card is?
I am not sure what that card would be.
Give it a guess.
A land of some sort?
It is a land of some sort. Given what you know, based on what you've already gathered, what do you think the land is or does?
A white-red land?
It's a blue-white land.
A lot of blue-white.
This deck particularly is blue, white, and red. And it is piloted by the 10th Doctor with Rose Tyler as his companion.
Yes, because that was the first major thing the 10th Doctor took Rose out on as a thing.
So, not bad. I'd say you did better than 50%. So,
yeah.
You had a little assistance from Ayrton, but I don't think that.
Ayrton helped nudge me on a couple ones because I was a little needed to get cranked up.
And it bored me infinitely less than listening to Rebel Moon.
Yeah. So I'm gonna throw something that I saw on another YouTuber's Twitter post that I think would make a good show discussion point. So let me share that. Share screen.
Is it the
Shoot.
intricacies of gay sex? Because that would be less gay than Rebel Moon.
No. Well, why would I do that? Actually, I gotta.
Why did you tell us about Rebel Moon, Larry? Why'd you tell us about Rebel Moon?
Because we have a show where we talk about topics in pop culture, and that's a topic.
Don't give me your facts and your theories.
Let me try and get this share right.
Technically correct, which is the best kind of correct.
It's true. It's true. Technically correct is the best kind of correct. I
am sad, but I am not surprised that Billy and Mandy reference went right under the radar.
Yes. So this came from Thinking Criticals. This came from Thinking Criticals YouTube.
Futurama reference.
Oh, well, yours was a Futurama reference.
Oh.
Runes was a Billy and Mandy reference. So this came from Thinking Critical's YouTube channel. Bringing Jason Todd back was one of the greatest mistakes for Batman comics. It made death in the family and a lonely place of dying useless. So, what do you guys think? Is the return of Jason Todd something that's made Batman less interesting or more interesting?
Less interesting, infinitely.
Does anyone want to take the opposite side of the proposition?
No, because I don't give a fuck about Batman.
Here's the problem, because I would love to devil's advocacy, but I can't. It's not even about Batman in this context. Can you name something that Jason Todd has done since Red Hood that mattered enough to be significant? I know
even Red Hood didn't matter.
I know he was in charge of the Outsiders for a while, but the fact of the matter is that it is become there's bats, there's
on
Dick.
A scale of 1 to nobody who knows about the Outsiders besides fucking comic heads like us.
Right. That's what I'm saying. If you actually scale it, there's bats, there's Dick, there's Barbara. Now people know Damien, much as I loathe it. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Some people know Red Robin.
Right. Mm-hmm. Tim is infinitely more interesting than Jason.
He
Jason's
is
dead.
But that's the thing, is that then it's like, and who else? It's like, oh, and there's Jason. Jason is just present. He hasn't done any interesting stories because he only matters in contrast to Batman for a couple of key
to Bruce, because he kills and Bruce doesn't.
Right. The thing is that I would say this is the ongoing comics problem, because obviously we all know that Death of Superman was a publicity stunt. Okay.
Hold on. And I have an alternate theory of this. Go ahead.
Well, let me finish. But the thing is that I think the same logic can be applied to Gwen Stacy. Bringing Gwen Stacy back didn't make Gwen Stacy more interesting or Spider-Man better. It devalued one of the most significant Spider-Man stories.
I actually think about it in a different context. I look at Jason Todd as trying to reboot a failed theory that was tested with the Hunters. And that having someone in the Bat family who kills is interesting. They did it with Azrael and it failed. They did it with Huntress. It failed. And then they tried to do it again with Jason Todd. It failed.
Because somebody who kills criminals isn't interesting. That happens all the time.
Well, yeah, I mean, we're fine. We're interested in Deadpool because we don't know what Deadpool's going to do next. We're interested in Wolverine because Wolverine's the best he is what he does, but he has no fucking clue who he is. But we're not interested in a Batman wannabe who kills criminals because that's too easy.
Well, here's the thing, because you brought up something interesting. I like Azrael, but I don't read Azrael comics. Why?
Well, that's because there aren't any.
Well, first of all, his actual
because it failed.
No, just hear me out. His look is awful. He is the most edge 90s character of 90s-dom. Okay? What if we made Batman like a French knight and then we put him in spikes, guys? Okay. John Paul Valley does not have much of a personality, right? But here's the thing. when you say, okay, Batman exists, the League of Assassins exists, but the League of Assassins is one among a multitude of hoary ancient conspiracies, I'm like, oh, that could be very interesting. But then they had no solid idea what to do with Azrael except a Batman that kills. Because the idea that he's a brainwashed robot wasn't interesting. His time as Batman wasn't interesting in the Nightfall arc. The post Nightfall arc isn't very interesting. They have nothing to do with him, just like Jason Todd. But he's also present.
Again, I wholeheartedly disagree. I think that they knew exactly what to do with Azrael, and they did it with Batman Beyond.
Hold up. But what if they make him gay? That's something they could do with him. Oh, really?
They did.
Is it because he's French Canadian?
Yeah, John Paul Valley, I think, was gay at one point.
What if they make her a woman and make her lame and gay?
But no, they did exactly what they meant to do with Azrael Bat, with Batman 2099 or Batman Beyond.
Well, here's an example, okay? Because I think that this is pertinent. I'm going to talk shit about one of the most beloved episodes of Justice League. Okay? Now, I agree with the thesis. Batman Beyond deserved a closer because they didn't get one. All right?
No, they did in comics. They just didn't on television.
Right. But the revelation that Terry McGinnis is in fact, by proxy, because there's a bunch of steps in between, a Bat clone does not make Terry McGinnis better, nor make Batman better. It's fucking dumb.
No, but it has also already been done with Dick Grayson in Court of Owls.
Right. It's not good. But people are like, but Batman held that girl's hand. Yes, that scene is great. The story is qualitative. But if we're talking...
Speaking of clones, Vern, if you had a clone of yourself and you had sex with it, would that be homosexual or just masturbation?
Yes.
Well, I mean, if we really want to get into that question, we need to talk about what's wrong with John Malin.
And we need to get
Wolf Milk. Wolf Milk is wrong with John Malin.
I mean, do we want to talk about what's wrong with John Malin?
I mean, we can.
I don't want to show the images on the show because the images are vile. In John Malin's comic Omega Storm, which he probably has.
I put that out of my head. I forgot that existed. God damn it! You guys suck.
Yeah. So John Malin has his villain character pulling a superhero's severed head out of his refrigerator, and he has turned this severed head into a sentient.
And hang out with the Vietnam vets.
He turned the head into a sentient Onahole, and proceeds to have sex with it both orally and through the other hole, and he dedicates that to Gail Simone.
And I still say I think he's actually missed a step. I believe you need to dedicate that to Anita Sarkeesian.
Well, no, it's because of the women in fridges thing.
Which was Anita's thing.
No, it was Gail, actually. She wrote the article, Women in Fridges.
And Anita just picked it up and ran with it.
Yes, because Anita didn't have an original thought in her head. She just was able to market the thoughts better.
You didn't have to use the word original.
Well, I mean, she is Armenian, so.
Yeah, you didn't have to use the word original.
What did you think about John Malin's deranged artistic decision, Church?
I actually have no idea what you're talking about. I was just waiting for my chance to talk about July settling.
He's listening to CCR and about to get into a helicopter. Don't mind him.
I mean, I posted the images that John... Okay. I mean, we could talk about Eric July's settlement because it's really uninteresting because it was what was always going to happen. and Eric July just was stupid and saying like, "Yo, bro, I didn't say I did anything wrong. We just signed a legal document."
As soon as the outrage bubble had burned, he shut the fuck up, let the lawyers do the lawyer thing, and walked away unscathed, which we all knew was going to happen.
Yep.
So this was actually a thought I had after last week's show when you reviewed Shad's book. So, from your review,
when he reviewed whose book?
Shad's book.
Exactly.
Who? Shad?
Shad from Shadiversity.
So, from what you said,
yes.
From what you said, I would say his isn't quite up to par as far as storytelling goes. But I would say, as far as like the big, like E-Slip like creators go, he's infinitely less cringe than somebody like EVS and Eric July when it comes to their property. Hold on. I get the sense that he actually enjoys his story, and even if it's not good, like he's trying. He's like the B movie of independent comics, whereas Eric July and EVS are like the Zack Snyder of independent comics, if that makes sense.
Let's be real. Liam Gray is the B movie of independent comics.
No. Liam Gray is the Ed Wood of independent comics.
So the reason
I'm not wrong, am I, though, Church?
Are you prepared to fight him over that statement?
I mean, no, because I would probably hurt him.
The reason I say that, Larry, is because I do watch Shad's YouTube stuff because I enjoy it. I think it's fun. I think it's fun and stupid, ridiculous.
It's infotainment.
Yeah, and he posted a video of him unboxing all the different books and variants and stuff, and I got and. Again, he is a content creator, and there's a performative aspect to it. But he came across more genuine about being excited that his novel is in a graphic novel form than some of these other.
Wait, Shadiversity is Genuine the rapper?
No.
Yes.
I mean, he wishes.
But I mean, let's get real. Let's say we could somehow.
But does that make sense? Like, even if his book isn't good, like he feels more genuine about his effort than.
Well, let's put it. Let me flip that around on you. Let's say we were able to get 250 people to crowdfund a book written by Rune Knight and drawn by friend of the channel, John Dillard. Rune would cry on camera.
Yeah.
That something he wrote was published.
Yes.
He would, and I would make fun of him for it.
And I would be gay, but it would not be fake.
So, Shad being as authentic as our friend would in that same situation is a very low bar. Whereas if Rune were to make a comic book, we're going to get 250 people to crowdfund it, and Rune employed a Brazilian sweatshop to make the comic book, and it used AI clip art, Rune would be embarrassed and would feel bad. And that is bare
and gay.
Wait, Chad published a comic?
Yes, but I was actually making an Eric July joke. Because Eric
July published a comic?
He did. Although the rumor is Glenn Beck actually secretly funded his comic.
Is Church slowly learning how to unknow facts?
Who was Eric July again?
He's some gay-ass rapper.
He taught us how to Dougie Church.
Yeah.
And Glenn Beck, he's one of the guys that Eric was trying to infect with Ebola, right?
Yes.
No. Why would you do that to Glenn Beck? He's a Mormon former alcoholic.
Isn't he part of the Illuminati? Isn't he a
No.
lizard person?
Church,
No.
you and me are the only ones that have read that book. They,
Look. I mean, if we're going to talk about the Illuminati and the lizard people,
Within 2 weeks, there will be major cities quarantined in a giant biological warfare drill.
Glenn Beck statue erected.
We're being murdered. Most of you are going.
COVID-35 is coming.
but but my greater point I'm bringing that up is the genuineness of Shad's effort. I think outweighs and gives an extra mark up versus these other bags that are just for money.
Wait, you think he was more genuinely trying to grift than other people?
Look,
yeah.
I am known to have a bias. Chad is not my favorite person. Okay? But I will say that for the purposes of this discussion, authenticity is subjective. He may be authentic. He may actually believe that he did the best he could do and be very proud of his work.
Look, he didn't write a comic about his great-great-great-grandfather, Blank Knox. And he didn't settle with an international school of ministry. So, obviously, he is not committed to his cause.
We're still talking about Shad, Church.
No, he is. He's saying Shad isn't as committed as Eric July, or at least not as committed as Eric July should be.
I mean, that's possible, but what I'm saying is that it is possible that Shad is as committed as he claims, right? But it is also equally possible that he is just a fucking grifter. That he is one among the long line of grifters.
It was something interesting because we talked about that, and like 2 days later, he came out with a video of him unboxing like the copies that he got of his book and stuff, and I was like, you know, he came across more. It was a more human reaction to it, seeing the novel he wrote in comic book form.
I can certainly, and I'm just saying that having stated the idea that authenticity is subjective, I can also state, it's entirely possible he's better at hiding his bullshit than Eric July.
Which he very well may be. That is a total possibility. Like, and I made the caveat that he is a content creator and there's a performative aspect to it. But
that's my thing, though, is that
I'm just saying that he didn't have the wherewithal to use a 3D generated video game ready truck for part of his comic art. Okay, like if you're not prepared to use pre-designed art for your comic book, then are you actually even trying to fucking grip?
And that's the funny thing. I think I said that when Larry was talking about the book. Is he has a video where he's talking about AI art. He was like, "Yeah, we were running out of time, and our deadline was coming up, and we didn't have like these certain cover and inside cover backgrounds and stuff. So I went in and made some AI backgrounds and superimposed some of John Malin's artwork on top of it and stuff, so we could,
No, it was Mike Miller's. It was Mike Miller's artwork,
or Mike Miller, whatever.
See, here's part of the thing there. Okay.
Well,
AI art is Shad's grift.
It is, but
it is a full stop grift.
But he came out and said it, whereas Eric July said, no, we didn't use like these image packages to make our comic.
Yeah, we didn't use these fucking creative packages to fluff out our artwork and push it out at a breakneck speed with minimal staff and artist payment.
The thing is that then Shad turns around and says AI is the future. If you don't like AI, you're a biased idiot. And then his attempts to show what good AI art looks like are worse than Larry's because he
Well, I
doesn't
mean,
give a shit about actually supporting his opinions.
and also, I'm barely
just
barely
he's
doing.
not good at it doesn't mean he's not right though.
No. I mean, here, let me a second. Hold
Well, I mean,
up, Panama Red. I'm wanting to show you some good AI art that I accidentally made. This came up as an accident. I want to show it to you.
I accidentally an art.
I accidentally in art, yes, because I've been doing experiments with AI art, and I've been smashing comics pages together, and I made this.
So what you're saying, Larry, is you go up to that AI and you're like, "Let me smash."
Well, no, there's a feature called Blend, and I put together several comic book pages, and this is a page from a Batman.
No, I like that. That's actually fairly good.
And it's almost there. It's almost there. And when I talk to some of the developers,
You know how I would alter that image, Larry? That would be a panel in an Elseworld book. Like, I would write an entire script around that. It would be a panel in an Elseworld book, and that background that Batman was standing in front of would have been like a college football field. And the young man in the two panels above him would have, football gear on, like a helmet and a jersey. And you would see Bruce Wayne's football career go down the fucking drain after his parents were killed visiting him at college.
Church, if you were going to make a Super Pro joke, you should just use the actual Super Pro comp.
No, man, this is a Kickers joke. This merging Marvel and DC. See, Batman is the reason the Kickers never worked because he was their star player and he ran off to be a vigilante. See, that's where I was going with that.
By the way, have we ever reviewed Super Pro for the show?
We reviewed Kickers, and I think we swore off any other football.
Yeah. Kickers was bad.
We need to do Super Pro because Super Pro.
No, I'm not doing it.
Yes.
Kickers was
No, he has admin powers right now. He can demand just like you could.
I'm not demanding it that way though. I'm saying Super Pro is actually better than Kickers Inc.
I don't doubt you, but that still doesn't mean I want to read it.
And I actually never got to read. I think there was a second Super Pro before they canceled.
Isom was better than Kickers Inc.
I strongly disagree with your opinion.
It wasn't. You're wrong, Aaron.
In fact,
Cyberfrog wasn't even better than Kickers Inc.
I will go so far as to say is Megs Visaggio's prequel comic to Rebel Moon will be better than Kickers Inc.
I will go so far as to say Why the Last Man as a series was better than Kickers Inc. But it was better than Isom as well.
So,
I mean, my sex tape that's dropping soon was better than Kickers Inc. So
yeah, but it's only 34 seconds long.
So, Church, we need you to do the Church minute so I can take us home.
All right. Well, with that, play old video games. Don't take life so seriously. Enjoy 2024, and rest easy in the fact that Mr. Medicare will meet you on the other side.
I mean, unless he defeats the cancer AIDS.
Either way, he'll still meet you on the other side, whether it be 2024 or death.
But I mean, if he defeats the cancer AIDS, he could be immortal.
Then he'll be there in 2024.
He can become a Highlander.
There's AI.
From the dawn of time, Medicare came, moving silently down among us until the time of the gathering.
We should
Which the Battle of Jim's driveway is the gathering.
Yes, it's the gathering of the sector. Cog will be there. Andy Worski will be there. Meg Delasco will be beaten off in a corner somewhere. Blade's foot's finally going to fall off there. Boogie's actually going to shoot Frank Castle there.
So Henry Cavill. I don't know if you watch this series. I doubt it. But if you
No,
somehow
Rue,
hear
we're getting ready
us,
to end the show.
Shazam 3 was just laid out for you as the Battle of Jim's driveway.
No. In your upcoming Warhammer 40K series for Amazon, please make Mr. Medicare the voice of the Emperor.
No, the voice of Eisenhorn.
Anyway.
No, the voice of the Emperor is funnier.
Anyway, good
no,
night,
but
everybody.
Eisenhorn gets more lines.
I don't want to glow either, Chad. The Fed do. And what you do to people that glow,
really
Chad, you run
can't
them over with
stay.
your 20 miles per hour.
Outside.
I gotta go away.
Baby, it's cold outside.
This evening has
Hoping that
been
you drop
so very
Fuck you, Peppa.
nice.
Show your armpit, Peppa.
My mother will start to worry.
What's your
My father will be pacing the
Listen
floor.
to that fireplace
So really, I better scurry.
Beautiful, please don't
Or
worry.
maybe just have a drink
Put some
more.
records on while I pour.
The neighbors might think,
Baby, it's bad out there.
say what's in this
No
drink.
cabs to be had out there.
I wish I knew
eyes are like
how
starlight
to
now.
rate this spell.
I'll take your hat.
Well, thank
Your
you.
hair looks
Good night,
I ought
everybody.
to say no,
fine
no,
if
sir.
I'm with close